This is Shreen Purewell, and I'm here once again with the lovely Fraser.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Shireen. Thanks for having me.
Yes. Okay. So today's topic is that I get a lot of requests on, okay, Shireen, thank you for helping us buy and sell. How do I become an agent as well? And you guys have been such amazing followers. I thought Fraser is an awesome example of a person who's done very well his first year, who's had excellent training, and who's done really well and can give you really good advice on his journey and some great tips on how it all worked out for him and becoming an agent. So today's topic's a big difference. It's not buying and selling. It's how do you become an agent as well? So go ahead, Fraser.
Well, I mean, I only learned from the best and got into it because of you and your great sales and persuasion. But no,
You're
it was, I would say, a pretty seamless process. Longer than I anticipated for sure. I think things have changed probably from when you got your license, but yeah, it was, I think everyone has to join through UBC in their program, especially if you're doing it in BC. And then I also signed up for GoBC, which is a third party provider who essentially teaches you the need to know information of how to pass the exam.
okay.
So
That's one sec. So you
yeah,
had to sign up for two things. One was
yeah,
the course through UBC,
yeah.
and then second, you sign up for another program. Do you need to sign up for that, or you chose to?
You don't need to. I chose to mostly because I didn't want to have to read like a massive textbook. I also didn't find at the time that the UBC instructors or the quizzes or the user interface was very conducive to a helpful learning environment. I found it really sort of dated and not helpful. It was pretty difficult and convoluted. Whereas GoBC just made it extremely simple. Their instructors are really engaging. They cut off all the fat that you don't need to learn, and just sort of get straight to the point and just focus on like a three-page cheat sheet of what you need to know in order to pass the exam.
Wow.
So that made it super helpful. And I know there's another provider, I think it's called GetFred, which is essentially the same thing. I think it's around the same cost. It provides the same services of just easier, quicker, faster.
I wish we
Not
had go to see because honestly, when I did mine over 10 years ago, it was that textbook and it took
right.
me 7, 8 months and it was painful. And now I'm hearing of people just doing it in 3 months, 3 months, 3 months. And I'm always like, how did you do it so fast? And you
Yeah,
passed, right?
yeah,
I won't lie, I failed the first time because I thought, how hard can multiple choice be? But
yeah,
little told did I know that all four answers are right and you have to pick the best right answer. So I was like,
right.
yeah, this is
Yeah,
tricky. So it is actually a bit of an art passing that exam and studying for it.
definitely.
So I like that it's not only teaching you the material, but also teaching you how to pass the
Yeah,
exam.
definitely. And it just expedites the entire process. Like again, I don't think it's advertised as well in terms of BCFSA and UBC of how long and extensive the licensing process actually is. I was under the impression that you write your license, you get or you pass the exam, and then you have your license and you're free to start working.
Right.
But then actually you have to go through BCFSA, the regulatory body's training and courses, on top of the brokerage training, on top of your real estate board onboarding and training as well, which are all additional extra fees, and it all just adds up in costs and time.
Mhm.
So doing it through GoBC or GetFred saves you sort of 4 to 8 months of the process because I was able to do it in 3 months because of that.
But good job. All that cost incurred, you quickly paid off on your huge first deal, which was over 4 million. Well done. I was quite
Thank you.
impressed with that.
I was
So
lucky. Beginner's luck.
what's
Yeah,
that?
no, beginner's luck. It is, I'd say definitely real estate is one of the quickest return on investment, if you will. It's not
Yeah.
like I'm paying for a 5 year long medical program or a 4-year long lawyer's program, which is a hundred
Mhm.
and thousands of dollars. Um, Probably in total, the entire course with UBC, with GoBC, with BCFSA's training, with all the books, textbooks,
Mhm.
all of it included. Um, Licensing, everything probably maxed out at around 9 to 10,000.
Wow.
Um, and then again, that's quickly paid off in a commission. So it's a pretty quick return on investment if you think about it that way.
Amazing.
Um, but it
That's
takes a lot of, like you said, it takes a lot of determination and perseverance to get through it. It's not for the lighthearted. I definitely understood the stat of, I think it's the first 1 to 2 years is a 90% fail or dropout rate for real estate agents because there is so much uncertainty around it, or because it is such a long process.
I mean, it's survival of the fittest. It really is. And you've proven over and over again, and I'm just watching you. And again, we're going to make sure we have your email or contact information on this post so that you can help others on what did you do to persevere.
Yeah,
I mean, you saw all the deals I saw in 10 years. I mean, in your first year, which was crazy.
yeah. I was thrown
So I
into
was
the deep
really
end.
impressed. Yeah, you got exposed to everything. So I can see you coaching others and helping others on their real estate journey, which I'm excited for you. I mean, you've done really well.
Thank you.
And if we had to condense it, what are the five top tips that you would give someone who's looking to become a real estate agent?
I would say stick with it and do it full time. It's not something, there were many times where I wanted to take up a part-time job just to either cover the costs or have an income.
Okay.
But I'm also very much a believer in giving 100 or 120% into whatever I'm doing and committing to it. Because if I had taken up a part-time job, I'm always going to be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And if it got sort of, if it, the courses took too long or if it was getting too expensive and I got frustrated, then I could easily pull out and then all of that time and money would have been wasted. So I would suggest it is again an investment, but taking that time and using GoBC to expedite that whole process and just focusing and committing on that and getting your license as quickly as
So you
possible.
had savings set aside to make sure you did that tip number one.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Got it.
Yeah, I was in a privileged position to do that. Some people aren't, or if you are working, like it just, I guess it depends on the learning and the focus and of the individual.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to get it done as quickly as possible. And again, because I didn't have a full-time job, I could do that. I could commit full 24 hours, 7 days a week of just studying
And
and
you'll
completing the
see the
course.
results faster too. I found that the moment because I started off initially doing part time, and then
Yeah,
I quit my day job and went full time, and I was
yeah,
like, wow, I just made 4 years of my job's income in 1 year,
yeah, yeah.
and I could take
And
half the year off still. So I was like,
exactly.
okay, this is
Yeah.
not too bad, and just by that simple focus.
Totally. And because UBC, I think it's every quarter they change the exam, or like there'll be new legislation that's passed, new laws, new building codes or whatever, which are
Good
then going to be
point.
incorporated into the new exam. So the quicker you get it done, the fresher the
Excellent
information
tip.
is in your head, and the more applicable it will be for the exam. Because I know people that have taken a year to study, and then when it comes time to writing the exam, all that or not all the information, but a lot of the information is changed. So then it's sort of restudying
Like
and more
us,
catching
like
up
from
to do.
10 years ago till now, so much has changed. So
Yeah,
I'm glad I did it when I did. When
yeah.
I yeah.
I'd say another tip as well is partnering or finding a mentor like I did with you as quickly as possible. Someone who can sort of coach you through it, who can be your cheerleader in the background, who can answer those questions. That was a really obviously crucial um, key to my success. Yeah, because I always had you sort of nagging me in the background of where am I in the chapter or in the course and how quickly I'm going to be doing this or when I'm going to be writing the exam, and also supporting me or able to just talk sort of the information that I was learning and get your perspective or talk through it. So it helped me remember that better. That was, I'd say that's a crucial tip as well. I'd say while you're studying as well, start sourcing out brokerages, take another agent out for coffee and start figuring out which brokerage aligns with you and who you want to join. And sitting down with those agents and seeing what the desk fees are going to be, what the commission splits are, what the team environment is, just so that when you do pass and when you are ready to join a brokerage, you're joining the right one. Because obviously there are fees involved into joining brokerages or switching brokerages.
And you did
So
that. You spoke to different people. So that's something, again, I'll put your email on this video so that you
yeah,
can guide others on what was your experience going through that too.
definitely. And I mean, I didn't have a background in real estate. And I'm not from Vancouver. I moved here and got my real estate license and new career, new industry, everything was new. So just to have that mentorship and be able to talk with you and get me onboarded with EXP was really helpful so that I wasn't wasting time sort of figuring out who I wanted to join when I could be already on the ground making money and with selling houses or buying houses for clients. Because yeah, that is I'd say a big factor in your success is which brokerage you're part of. Because if they're taking a chunk of the commission, or the team is, then it may not be that advantageous for you. So you want to join a brokerage that aligns with you better. I'm not saying it was a mistake to join EXP, but I joined EXP, a virtual brokerage, with no experience in the industry. So I wasn't going into a physical office and seeing how other agents talk with their clients or joining them for open houses. It was very much self-paced, self-directed. But again, that's just the personality that I have, and I like to learn by
Love your
myself.
candidness. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Like that's what we want to share with our viewers out there, like your honest experience.
yeah,
And you've done phenomenal even based on that. And I love that you basically got thrown into the deep end and you learned quickly how to swim,
yeah,
right?
yeah. I
So good
think,
job.
and I think that's what real estate is at the end of the day. It's not a hill industry to be in. You're always having to work. You're always trying to figure out what the next step is, what you're doing next, because there's so many
Right.
things that you could be doing. You could be door knocking, you could be cold calling, you could be
Where's
sending mail out. There's always something to do, and I mean, each agent has their own sort of particular demographic or marketing. But that's sort of all part of the process too, is exploring what works for you and what your brand is as an agent.
Okay, so tip number one was what? Let's recap here. Was
What you're questioning was getting a mentor,
mentor.
uh, was coaching you through that. Tip number two was speaking with other agents from other brokerages so you can understand sort of what brokerage you want to join when you do pass. Tip number three was joining or signing up for one of these third party learning
Courses.
organizations like GoBC or
Yeah.
Fred, just to expedite that process. You wanted five tips. Tip number four, um, if you're new to the area, even if you're not, if you've been living in that area that you work or are planning on working in, um, walk around it, drive around it, get to know it even better than you did before. I know sort of the area that I currently live in, but I want to start selling condos downtown. I want to sell them out in New West. I want to sell
Know
houses
your
on
product
Gulf
and
Islands. Know your
know
product
your
and your
product
demographic.
very well. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I agree. Definitely knowing your product is really important and relationships.
totally.
I think that
Yeah.
would be tip number five after product.
I
Sorry,
was I was just about to say, and it
know
was
your product and then know your people and then
yeah,
match them up together, essentially.
exactly. And that, as you just spoke for me for number five,
Sorry.
is it was very daunting as a new agent of why should I choose you to be my agent? And obviously that's a hard question to answer when, especially with me, when you're new to the industry and new to the city. But my leverage was you're my main focus as my client. So I can give you 120%, which a lot of other agents aren't able to do.
Mhm.
Because they're juggling other listings, other transactions, teams, whatnot, so they aren't fully focused on their clients.
Mhm.
Which I'd say is really important for me. And as you have told me before, it's all about relationship building. You're dating your client essentially. You're taking them out, you're showing them around, you're getting to know them. It's a super personal and a huge transaction.
Mhm.
And they're trusting you so much to deal with obviously their money and their future investment and their life plan, that you really have to advocate for them and get to know them and really understand what they want and what they need.
And
So
the other
that's
thing that I really want to bonus tip. So we've had our five, but the really bonus, most important tip that I give all agents, or the best tip I received as an agent as well, is relationship before any commission. Some of the, sometimes some people get, some agents, I've seen them, they're all about like, I'll make more money on this deal or that deal.
external.
Honestly, one client, one of my smallest clients that I took care of was this old lady. She was in her 90s. And, I really made sure I walked her through the whole process. And her home was like 250,000, really
Yep.
like not expensive, but I must have spent like more time than I have with any client that year. Um, but I built a relationship with her, and I developed sort of like a daughter mother figure with her.
Yeah.
And I didn't expect this at all, but her daughter, when she found out what care I took of her mom, referred me to all the neighbors, referred me to all the friends, and that brought so much
That's
business.
it.
And I
Yeah.
totally wasn't after or expecting or anything, just organically came just from genuinely having a relationship with my client and having
Yeah.
their best interests at heart. So really,
Absolutely.
relationship is more important than money, commission. You're in this business to help people.
For sure. And I
That
think
all is a byproduct.
that's the stereotype which I hate that we're given, is we're these sort of
Yeah.
transactional beings that, yes, it is a money-driven industry, and that is our form of payment. We don't get a salary. And some agents are like that. They treat their clients very transactionally.
Mhm.
But I'm not. As you said, I put
I have seen
relationship
it.
above
And I'm like,
everything.
whoa, Fraser, like you're going over and beyond for your clients. I was like,
Yeah.
yo, this is
Because I know that if I take, let's say, a hit in my commission, if I'm getting them a really good deal, I know that is going to be outweighed once they refer me to their close network.
Mhm.
Because then I'm immediately going to have three other transactions that I'll have in my pocket, which I wasn't expecting. I'll take a loss of $1,000 from a commission because I got them a good deal, or because the property was of lower value, and I'll trade that for another client, that's been referred to me by those clients that I treated really well.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I'm being, like I said, like your success story of, a new agent who's done phenomenally well. I'm going to put your email in this post so that you can share your tips with others, or if anyone else
Absolutely.
has any questions, they can refer it directly to the
Yes.
expert himself, who's literally seen all the deals I've seen in 10 years in his first year as a realtor. So, and he's done really well with all of them. So, I
The
like to pay
journey.
it
All thanks to
forward and you
you.
like to pay it forward. So well done.
Yeah,
And I mean, I played a little part, but you did
of
all most
course.
of the heavyweight lifting and you actually did it, not me.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
let's give you credit and let's definitely have you pay it forward to others. And
absolutely.
you're awesome. Well, thanks so much, Fraser.
Thank you.
And have
Okay.
a